When I was 18, there was a girl in my class who always seemed difficult. She interrupted people, she snapped over the smallest things.
Sometimes she'd ignore you for weeks, then suddenly act like nothing had happened. To be honest, I didn't like her. Neither did most people.
One afternoon, I saw her sitting alone outside one of the lecture halls. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen, stared at it for a few seconds, then quietly turned it face down. A few moments later, she started crying. Not the kind of crying people notice, the kind you try your hardest to hide. Months later, I found out she had been taking care of her younger siblings while her mother was seriously ill. She was exhausted, scared, barely sleeping. Suddenly, the person I thought was difficult didn't seem so difficult anymore. That experience stayed with me because it made me wonder, how many people have we misunderstood simply because we never knew their story? If you've ever looked at someone's actions and thought, why would anyone do that? You're asking one of the oldest questions in psychology. Let's explore why. One of the biggest mistakes we make is believing that people's actions appear out of nowhere, but they rarely do. Every behavior, whether it's kind, cruel, quiet, loud, patient, or impulsive, usually has a story behind it. That doesn't mean every behavior is acceptable. It simply means behavior doesn't happen in isolation. Psychologists have spent decades studying what shapes the choices people make, and one thing becomes clear over and over again. Human behavior is influenced by far more than what we see.
A person who seems cold may have learned that showing emotion wasn't safe. Someone who constantly seeks attention may have grown up feeling invisible.
A person who pushes others away may actually be protecting themselves from rejection. The behavior is visible. The reason often isn't. Our brains also rely on shortcuts. When someone cuts us off in traffic, we're quick to think they're selfish. But if we cut someone else off because we're rushing to the hospital, we explain it with our circumstances. Psychologists call this the fundamental attribution error, our tendency to explain other people's actions by their personality while explaining our own by the situation. It's one reason misunderstandings happen so easily. We see actions, we don't see context, and yet, context changes everything. Think about the people who have shaped your life. Maybe someone encouraged you when you needed it most. Maybe someone hurt you in a way they never realized. Every choice they made came from experiences, beliefs, fears, habits, and emotions that had been building for years. None of us wake up one morning as the finished version of ourselves. We're constantly being shaped by what we've lived through. Understanding this doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. Healthy boundaries still matter. People are still responsible for their choices. But understanding reminds us to be curious before we're quick to judge sometimes. The question isn't, what's wrong with this person? Sometimes it's, what happened that might help explain this? Because when we replace assumptions with curiosity, we don't just understand other people better, we understand ourselves better too. And if there's one thing psychology teaches us, it's this: human behavior always leaves clues. You may never know the full story behind someone's actions, but remembering that there is a story can change the way you see people forever. Has there ever been someone you completely misunderstood until you learned what they were going through? Share your experience in the comments. Until next time, stay curious.